Thank you for taking the time to review the Hoke Industrial Safety Orientation. Please pay close attention to some of the rules we have set forth, as they exceed the OSHA standards. The test questions will reflect our rules. We will be as quick as possible, but this should take about 30 minutes to complete. So, let us get started.
General Safety Rules. The company prohibits the unauthorized or illegal possession or use of alcoholic beverages, drugs, or other intoxicants on company property or job assignments. No person shall be permitted to bring unauthorized or illegal beverages, drugs, or other intoxicants onto any location where work is being performed by the company, nor shall any such person be allowed to perform work under the influence of alcoholic beverages, drugs, or other intoxicants. Any drugs or other prohibited items on site will result in immediate dismissal. Fighting, horseplay, or harassment of any kind will not be tolerated. Personal firearms are not allowed on company projects or work sites. Site layout, including the location of eye wash stations, washrooms, eating areas, emergency muster points, and employees' work areas, will be posted. Housekeeping.
Combustible materials, such as oil-soaked rags, paint-covered rags, waste, packing, and other trash, shall not be allowed to accumulate on the benches, floors, or yards, but shall be stored in designated areas or receptacles designed for them and properly identified. Stairways, aisles, exits, walkways, and storage areas shall be kept free of debris and other obstructions. Scrap and waste shall not be allowed to accumulate in the work areas. Materials and supplies shall be stored in an orderly, stable manner to prevent their falling, rolling, or spreading. Floors and platforms shall be kept free of oil, grease, water, and other slippery materials. Protruding nails shall be bent over or removed. Electrical cords, welding leads, and air hoses shall be run overhead, underneath, or otherwise kept out of walkways and stairs.
Slips, trips, and falls.
Slips, trips, and falls account for approximately 60% of injuries on the job site. The hazard is increased in wet or snowy weather. Watch out for power cords. Some areas of the worksite have very uneven ground. Material such as metal and wood may be placed around the worksite. Watch your step. Walkways, scaffolding, and concrete are very slippery when wet, oily, or muddy.
Preventing slips, trips, and falls.
Wear appropriate steel-toe footwear. Take the time to survey the area before entering. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your balance and concentrate on the placement of your feet. Walk slowly, testing your footing along the way.
Personal protective equipment, PPE.
Workers shall wear work gloves, suitable for the work being performed on jobs where gloves will help prevent hand injuries. That is, handling rough or sharp metal objects. Personnel are required to wear ANSI-approved head protection. No metal hard hats. Hard hats are not to be defaced, painted, or reshaped. Hard hats shall not be worn reversed, with the exception of welders, who may reverse their hats in order to use a welding hood. All head protection must be less than 3 years old. Approved hearing protection, such as earmuffs, earplugs, or both, shall be used in high noise areas, less than or equal to 85 decibels. General rule, if you can't talk to someone in a normal voice 3 feet away, you need to wear hearing protection. Safety glasses, ANSI Z87 compliant, with side shields must be worn. Goggles or a face shield shall be worn when standard safety glasses do not provide adequate protection, i.e., when chipping concrete or grinding metal. Respiratory protection will be used where applicable, or engineering controls fail to reduce contaminants within prescribed limits. Where respirators are required, employers shall develop a written respiratory protection program. A body harness and lanyard with 100% tie-off shall be used when working more than 4 feet from the lower level, or when,
on all stages, floats, and any other type of suspended scaffolding, on all scaffolds with incomplete decking, on all scaffolds and platforms without standard guardrails, on sloping roofs, on ladders within 4 feet from the edge of floor or roof openings where guardrails are present, or within 6 feet of floor edges, floor openings, and roofs where there are no guardrails or wire rope railings.
Lanyards shall be positioned to prevent a fall of not more than 3.5 feet. Body harnesses shall be worn with the D-ring positioned at the back and between the shoulder blades. Prior to each use, a visual inspection of the body harnesses and lanyards shall be made by the employee using them.
Footwear shall be suitable for the environment in which the individual is required to work. Leather boots or shoes or rubber boots in wet conditions with steel or composite toe protection are required on all Hoke industrial work sites.
Metatarsal guards shall be worn when working with equipment that presents a crushing hazard. Footwear must be in good working order. No steel toe or composite toe can be visible.
Signs, signals, and barricades.
Post or erect signs and barricades as necessary to advise personnel of hazardous conditions in work areas. In order to uniformly identify particular hazards on the project, a barrier tape identification system will be used. Yellow tape may have black in it. Use caution when crossing. Used for open manholes, trenches, excavations, etc. Red tape may have black in it. Do not cross unless authorized to do so. Used for imminent danger. Yellow and magenta, purple tape, do not cross, used for possible radiation hazard, X-ray, etc. Barrier tape shall be erected far enough back from the hazard to allow adequate warning and protection from the hazard. Barricade tag shall be placed on all sides of the barricade area. Tag will be clearly marked with the date, company name, and contact number. The barrier will be removed as soon as there is no longer a hazard present.
Emergency procedures. All site employees must be trained on the site-specific emergency procedure. This training shall include the following areas. Alarms and other emergency communications are used both at the site and at the customer host facility as applicable. Evacuation procedures, including routes and assembly areas to be used. All occupational injuries or illnesses must be reported immediately. Unless the injury requires immediate transportation for medical treatment, the employee should immediately report the injury to his/her supervisor and then report to the project first aid designee. Report all spills to your supervisor immediately. If safe to do so, prevent further spillage, but don't begin cleanup until directed to do so.
Fire protection.
Flammable liquids shall be used only in small amounts in approved self-closing safety cans and shall be stored in approved flammable liquid cabinets. No smoking signs shall be posted where appropriate and will be strictly observed. Access to fire extinguishers must not be obstructed. Fire extinguishers shall be inspected at least monthly and shall be maintained fully charged. A hot work permit shall be issued before welding or cutting in close proximity to flammable and combustible materials.
Lockout and tagout.
Machines or equipment are to be isolated from all potentially hazardous energy and locked out and tagged out before employees perform any servicing, reparation, cleaning, maintenance, or adjusting activities where the unexpected energization, startup, or release of stored energy could cause injury. An authorized person must render the machine inoperative in a manner that prevents reactivation of the machine. Employees shall adhere to the requirements of the company's lockout and tagout program.
Confined space entry.
Employees shall adhere to the requirements of the company's confined space entry program. Confined spaces include tanks, vessels, enclosures with limited access, such as hatchways and manholes. All confined spaces shall be posted. An entry permit shall be issued only after sampling is complete. Sampling must be done by a trained person with knowledge of the testing equipment being used. This permit must be signed prior to entry. A new permit is required at the beginning of each shift. No entry permit shall be issued if the oxygen content is less than 19.5% or greater than 23.5%, or combustibility is above 10% of the lower explosive level, LEL.
Motor vehicles.
Site speed limit is 10 miles per hour. Where provided, all occupants shall properly fasten their safety belt before vehicles are operated. The driver is responsible for checking to ensure that passengers are safely in the vehicle. Operators of vehicles shall have a valid driver's license and shall comply with applicable motor vehicle laws and highway rules and regulations. A signalman or guide shall be used when backing up whenever there is an obstructed view. Vehicles operating outside of daylight hours shall be equipped with lights.
Mechanized equipment.
All vehicles in use shall be checked at the beginning of each shift to ensure that parts, equipment, and accessories that affect safe operation are in proper operating condition and free from defects. All defects shall be corrected prior to placing the vehicle in service. Safety belts shall be fastened before equipment is operated. Heavy material moving shall be equipped with a reverse signal alarm, which will operate automatically with backward movement. The alarm shall give an audible signal suitable for the conditions. Flagmen shall be provided with or shall wear red or orange warning garment while flagging. Warning garments worn at night must be reflective. Only certified personnel who have been trained in the safe operation of specific mechanized equipment, i.e., forklifts, shall be allowed to operate such equipment. Must have current, valid certification for operation of equipment.
Rigging, hoisting, and jacking.
Prior to the initial use and on a daily basis, all rigging shall be inspected and defective equipment removed from service immediately. Do not load rigging equipment in excess of its recommended safe working load. Rigging equipment shall be properly stored at the end of each work shift. Slings shall be protected from sharp edges. Do not mark or write on slings. Only certified personnel who have been trained in safe rigging practice shall be allowed to carry out this activity.
Fall protection. All surfaces on which employees may walk or work must have structural integrity to safely support the workers and materials which are placed upon the surface. Fall protection is required whenever employees are exposed to heights 4 feet or more from a lower level, or if employees are exposed to falls into dangerous equipment or other hazards. Guardrail systems shall consist of top rails, mid rails, and toe boards, or the equivalent. Typical guardrails are constructed of lumber or tubular steel. Only commercially purchased full-body harnesses with locking snap hooks and deceleration devices shall be used. Safety belts shall not be used for fall arrest. Do not write or mark equipment. Lifelines shall be designed, installed, and used under the supervision of a qualified person. The system shall maintain a safety factor of at least 2. When vertical lifelines are used, each employee shall be attached to a separate lifeline. Anchorage points shall be capable of supporting at least 5,000 pounds per person. When used as a warning line system, ropes, chains, wires, and stanchions shall be erected not less than 6 feet from the roof edge and flagged with high visibility materials at intervals not exceeding 5 feet. No employee shall be permitted in the area between the roof edge and the warning line, unless the employee is performing work in that area. Prior to and during the installation of a guardrail, it is essential that a full-body harness is worn. Falling object protection must be provided when a hazard is present. Two boards are used for falling object protection. They shall be at least 4 inches high, always in use. When tools, equipment, or materials are piled higher than the toe board, paneling or screening shall be installed for a sufficient distance to protect workers below. Floor openings shall be securely protected through the use of a secured guardrail or cover. If a cover is used, it shall be secured and identified. Also,
It shall be of sufficient strength, 2 times the intended load, to support personnel or material that may pass over it. Aerial lifts shall be operated in accordance with manufacturer's requirements. Tie-off of personnel in aerial lifts is mandatory. Ladders.
The side rails of a ladder shall extend 36 inches, 3 feet, above the landing. Portable metal ladders shall not be used for electrical work or where they may come into contact with electrical conductors. No one shall use a straight or extension ladder unless the ladder is provided with safety feet and is held, tied, or otherwise made secure to prevent slipping or falling. The person shall face the ladder and use both hands for support, always using 3 points of contact when ascending or descending. A person's feet shall never be placed higher than the 3rd rung from the top, unless the ladder is placed against a structure which affords a support that can be used for holding onto with the hands. A stepladder shall be used in the open position. It shall be opened fully and locked. Personnel shall not stand on the top 2 steps of any stepladder. The use of ladders with broken or missing rungs or steps, broken or split side rails, or other faulty construction is prohibited.
Hand tools, electric power tools, and extension cords. All tools shall be kept in good repair, used only for the purpose for which they are designed, and stored in a safe manner. Electric extension cords for general maintenance work, as well as for portable electric power tools, shall be flexible, heavy-duty, sheathed with rubber or equivalent, and in good working order. Electric extension cords shall not be used for permanent installations. Welding and burning operations.
Personnel using gas welding equipment shall inspect acetylene or oxygen bottles, hoses, and regulators prior to each use. When burning or welding, approved eye protection with a suitable filter lens shall be worn. Approved eye protection shall be worn under welding shields. A fire watch with a suitable fire extinguisher shall be assigned to all burning and welding operations in any area that contains combustible or flammable material. The fire watch shall remain in place for 30 minutes after welding and burning is complete. Leather gloves and other protective clothing will be used while doing hot work. When not actively welding, you must wear your hard hat. An approved fire extinguisher will be available in the immediate area where welding is being conducted. When welding or burning in areas where there are large amounts of combustible or flammable materials, additional extinguishers shall be provided. When burning, welding, or cutting in poorly ventilated areas, mechanical ventilation and/or respiratory protection shall be used, and operators shall be under close observation by a safety watcher who is not exposed to the hazard.
Compressed air and gases.
Cylinders shall be secured in an upright position. Valve protection caps shall be in place where cylinders are not in use. When cylinders are hoisted, they shall be secured on a cradle or a sling board. They shall not be hoisted by means of choke slings or magnets. Cylinders containing oxygen, acetylene, or other fuel gas shall not be taken into confined spaces. All compressed gas cylinders shall be considered explosive and shall be handled with care. Cylinders may be stored in the open, but should be protected to prevent rusting. Cylinders may be stored in the open or other locations, but not exposed to temperatures above 125 degrees Fahrenheit. If ice or snow accumulates on cylinder, thaw at room temperature or with water not exceeding 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
Program compliance or disciplinary policy.
Failure to comply with any part of the Hoke Industrial Safety Program will not be tolerated. Employees who are discharged from the project for noncompliance with the project safety program will not be eligible for reemployment on the project. When an unsafe act is observed, the person observing has the responsibility to stop the unsafe act. Stop work authority. A. First infraction. This is an oral communication between the supervisor and employee where the first infraction is identified and corrective action and coaching is provided to the employee. The supervisor will document the first incident. B. Second infraction. This is a written communication given by a supervisor to an employee who has previously been given a verbal warning. The supervisor shall identify the safety infraction and provide coaching toward a desired corrective action with the employee. Documentation of this incident is mandated, requiring the signature of the employee. This step may result in time off for the affected employee.
C. Third infraction. This is the final written communication given by a supervisor to an employee who had previously been given a verbal and written warning. The supervisor identifies the safety infraction, and the employee is given severance of employment. Documentation of this incident is required and will not require the signature of the employee. This step may result in permanent removal from the site. D. Serious infraction. Supervisors may issue a written warning for a first infraction if the seriousness of the infraction warrants this action. Serious infractions may result in permanent removal from the site.
I want to thank you for your time and attention you have given to this presentation. We at Hoke Industrial want our team members to remain in good health and compliance with all the rules and requirements of local and federal laws. This is a continuing effort from everyone. If you have any questions or comments, please ask.